All right, we're going to address the elephant in the room. The question that everyone's been asking, at least I've heard it dozens of times, which is, did AI kill rank and rent? Now, I get asked a version of this every single week, sometimes a couple times a week. It's never asked directly like that. It's usually, hey, how do you think AI will affect rank and rent? But really what people are asking is it dead? Is it worth getting into? And I'm going to share my thoughts. Now, the reason that I decided to finally make this video is because I watched another person give their opinion on it, and their answer was like, they said, in short, yes, it's dead, and it's 90% clapped. Okay, this is what they said. And I was like, okay, let me listen to this video and listen to the points. So I want to give my opinion on it. Now, I do want to tell you guys that I'm self-aware enough to know that I have skin in the game. So naturally, I would want to have an answer that would say, no, it hasn't been ruined, it hasn't been affected. But I'm going to try my best to separate that, okay? Now, I don't, and the reason being is because, look, I understand how frustrating that is. I have friends, I'm going to give you an example, that are realtors. And it's like every time you talk to them, it's a good time to buy. No, now's a good time to buy. It's like, bro, the housing prices are ridiculous and the interest rates are stupid. Yeah, but it's a good time because of it. It's like, no, you got to admit sometimes it's not a good time. So I'm going to not be that person. But you also have to remember, and I want to say one last thing on this is, I also have skin in the game. So yes, my clients do, but I have skin in the game too. So anything that affects my clients, I'm not somebody that, yes, I do teach this. Yes, I have a coaching program and a community, but I pay my bills from my websites, from my clients that I work with. So anytime my students are affected by something, you can times that by 10, and that's how I'm affected, okay? So with that said, I know I'm self-aware enough. I'm going to be a little bit biased, but I'm going to try to separate myself and just give you my opinion as an outsider as much as possible, okay? So first I want to say this. I've been hearing people for 9 years tell me that rank and rent is dead. Okay. I joined another community back in 2016. That's how I started. And pretty shortly after, Google started testing Google Guaranteed. Okay. And if some of you guys don't even know what that is, that's the point. But a lot of you should know what it is. But essentially, Google Guaranteed was Google's way of doing lead generation. And I remember it started kind of popping up in different cities and different industries. And I had this moment where I was like, Google, I mean, we're running this on Google. And they could put us out. They could completely ruin us. And I kind of freaked out a little bit, but I just kept going. I don't even know if I really logically thought it, or I just was like, you know what, I'm just going to keep going because I have no other option. But I kept going. I kept building. And what do you know? It's a thing, but it didn't ruin rank and rent. Not at all. Okay. In fact, a lot of businesses have a hard time even getting on Google Guaranteed. So we had the Google Guaranteed. Then we had people getting scared by, well, what happens if Google does another update like the Panda update? Blah, 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 blah. I saw that. Okay. We were supposed to be ruined by that. Then there was the GMB thing, which has happened more recently, where people are like, oh, it's really tough to get a GMB. And by the way, it is, but that still hasn't affected rank and rent. By the way, my entire career, I haven't really done that much with GMBs. When I scaled up to $1 million in 2020, $1 million a year doing this business, not coaching, not doing SEO, just on writing simple websites, I probably only had GMBs on half my sites. Okay, just to kind of put that in perspective. Then we had ChatGPT that came out, and it was supposed to be ruined. And now, kind of a more broad AI is supposed to be killing rank and rent, right? That's at least the argument here. So I'm going to be completely candid as I've thought through this. I am using ChatGPT a lot. And by the way, I recently switched to using Claude for a number of different reasons, but I use AI a lot and I'm going to tell you what I use it for, is I use it a lot for fact checking. Excuse me. So random stuff, I want to know this, I want to know that, I want to know the population of whatever. I think it's way better than Google for things like that. So I use it a lot for fact checking. I use it a lot for brainstorming. Okay. I use it a lot for random questions. And the truth is, on those categories, I use it way more than Google. Truth. And I know Google has a built-in AI and whatever, but I use it way more than I use Google. However, just personal use case, and I want you guys to think the same about your situation. I still use Google when I need something done. When I need something done, something fixed, a problem solved, okay? When I need to find a handyman. I just got back from Africa about 4 days ago. Yes, 4 days ago. Got home, or maybe it was like 6 days ago. And I opened up my dishwasher, there's water in the bottom, okay? First thing that I did, I didn't go to ChatGPT. I didn't go to Facebook. I called Francesca and I was like, actually, before we call somebody and get them to fix the problem, let's try to get a deal out of it, is what I actually did. But we went to Google and found somebody that was already paying for leads, okay? But if I hadn't thought about that and I wasn't going to go and try to make money on it, I still would have opened up Google and done handyman near me, 100%, okay? A few weeks ago, my iPhone, I dropped it like an idiot, finally decided to get it fixed. I used Google, okay? And it wasn't even consciously that I thought about it, I just used Google. I still, and I would argue, and you guys tell me in the comments if I'm completely off, but I still use Google to fix my problems, especially around my house, okay? I don't even think about, it's almost like, to me, going to ChatGPT to ask for a plumber feels almost like going to not quite, but it almost feels like going to Facebook and hoping that an ad pops up because I'm not familiar with it. So I personally am still using Google for problem solving, okay? Which means that my high search intent goes to Google, not to ChatGPT. Now, I tried to pull up some data. Now, the funny thing is when I was kind of pulling some thoughts together for this video, I wanted to be completely transparent. So I asked Claude, to, pull, like, I was like, hey, how many people are searching on Google? And, how does that all look? And then here's the interesting thing that I found via Claude. The number of Google searches is actually increasing, okay? The number of Google searches is actually increasing. Now, does that mean that we're getting lied to and people aren't using, ChatGPT and Claude? No. What we're finding, or what the data is showing, is that people are just using these tools more. So they're using Google more than ever, and they're using AI. So the number of total searches, if you take both the AI tools and Google, is actually increasing by a lot. What does that mean? Okay, it means that people aren't replacing Google with AI. They're just using both for different things. Okay, so in my opinion, and what I've seen, because we're still getting deals, I just had a student literally yesterday, Chelsea McFarland. I put this on my Instagram story. She joined my community literally a month ago, less than a month. I said a month because I didn't want to get the exact date, but less than a month. And within the month, I think it was like 3 weeks, she landed a $1,500 a month deal. Okay, lives here in St. George, Utah, stay-at-home mom, boom. 2 days before that, I interviewed Haley Burns, who lives in Utah as well. She's a traveling nurse, and she had like a little competition with herself. She landed a deal in 18 days with this model. So here's what I want to say is, yes, AI changed a lot of things, okay? But what it can't change and what it didn't change is the fact that local businesses still need their phone to ring. And when people need a person to show up, they still go to Google. I'm a perfect example of that, okay? And by the way, guys, AI did change search in real ways. I'm not going to pretend that it didn't, okay? But again, one thing that it didn't change is local, high intent, someone needs to show up behavior, okay? And again, I know this because I've lived it. I had the dishwasher example. I had the iPhone repair that I needed done. And I didn't go to ChatGPT or Claude. I went to Google, okay? Again, 3.2 billion local searches per day. It's increasing every single year. It's not going down, okay? By the way, lastly, just to wrap this video up, is the good part about AI, the thing that's made this business even easier, is that it's made building websites easier and quicker than ever, okay? Which was one of the things that people couldn't wrap their head around. Making content has been easier and faster than ever. Doing keyword research, doing niche research, all these things have been faster than ever. Writing ads has been faster than ever. So it's actually made it easier to get into this business, okay? And for people that are working with me already or considering potentially getting into this, working with me or somebody else, what you guys need to understand is that, some of the arguments out there is that a lot of the traffic is going to ads at the top of Google, right? Or ads at the top of GMB or to the GMB. And they're like, oh, organic has no weight. Well, the reality is I also run paid ads. That's part of my strategy. And for those of you that are brand new to this model, I don't want to get into the weeds here, but I run paid ads. So I'm getting the benefits of those ads from Google. I'm also teaching my students how to get Facebook ads. We go up and running, which is providing some insane traffic, some insane amount of leads, okay? So I'm never going to rely on one traffic source. I'm not just relying on organic. The other thing, if you're like, well, how are you sleeping at night? What if something changes? How can I sleep at night? Guys, I am a problem solver. I'm an entrepreneur. Hopefully you are too. If something radically shifts and the number of Google searches cuts in half tomorrow, and we find out that everybody's actually using AI tools to get somebody to their door, which hasn't happened yet, but if it does, businesses are still going to need leads. And guess what? There's going to be an opportunity to be a lead generator on these platforms. You're just going to need somebody at the head showing you how to do it. And so again, as a reminder, if it affects you, it affects me times 10. So I'm not just sitting here at the top going, oh yeah, if it affects you, good luck. I'm still making money teaching this stuff. No, I am getting my bills paid by my websites that I'm renting to my local business owners that I've had for years and years and years. And we're adding new ones every single month, okay? So guys, my clients are going to be affected. And if it hurts them, it's going to hurt me times 10. Okay, guys, my final thought, this is kind of to tie it all together, is AI didn't kill rank and rent. It killed the excuse that rank and rent was too hard to do. That's the reality. It did not kill rank and rent. It just killed the excuse that rank and rent is hard. That's the reality. So, guys, one thing I want to tell you guys, if you haven't already, go follow me on Instagram. I am literally posting multiple stories every single day showing you the lifestyle, the digital landlord lifestyle, what this has allowed me to actually do this business, how it's changed my life. You're going to see what that looks like. I also show behind the scenes how I'm building this business, how it's affecting my entire life, and I think you guys will find it interesting. By the way, I answer all my DMs, so if you're curious about something, have a question, or want to know how to get started, shoot me a DM. I personally will be the one to respond to it. With that said, guys, let's keep building.